Industrious deal is a paradigm for what is going to come. But I think you're actually going to see even more kind of like layers and dimensions to how corporates engage in the innovation economy beyond just acquisitions.
Hi, I'm Jamie Hodari. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Industrious. We are one of the large workplace providers globally and a fifthwall portfolio company. In particular, I think the things we're known for are we have a real commitment to viewing workplace, flex and sort of the provision of workplace as an outsourcing business to some degree, that you're going to customers and saying, we're delivering your workplace for you, and if we're going to do it, you have to believe we're going to do just as good of a job as when you do it yourself. And we spent 12 years trying to build a business that can meet that as good as if you did it yourself test.
All right, so I'm here with Jamie Hodari, the CEO and co-founder of Industrious, which just sold to CBRE. So congrats, Jamie. Maybe before we jump in, one, why were you so excited about this deal?
I mean, this is going to sound promotional, but it is 100% true. I'm a true believer in what Industrious does. I really think a lot of people are looking for something more out of their day at work. They're looking for a place that enriches their lives, where it's not just about being productive. They want to join a young parents group or a book club, be exposed to new ideas, new people. And I want a lot of people to get to benefit from that in their lives. And I think for Industrious, joining CBRE is going to allow Industrious to get in front of a lot more people. We're going to be able to grow quicker. We're going to be able to be plugged into the largest real estate firm in the world, and we're going to get better at what we do. So from the Industrious point of view, the reason I was so excited about the deal is that more people are going to get to experience Industrious, and what Industrious is going to get better. And for me personally, I'm taking on this very new role at CBRE. It's at a very different scale than have operated at before. I love a challenge. And I really do. I love CBRE. I think it's a very entrepreneurial, very kind company for a company of that size. So I'm pretty honored to have my name associated with it, and I'm ready to take on this bigger role within CBRE.
Why did CBRE want to buy Industrious? And even backing up, maybe, why did they first invest in you? And what's the rationale on their side?
I think the initial investment was quite flex focused. It was about the flex industry, sort of somewhat narrowly defined. I do think they've been impressed with the performance of the company. So that probably perked their eyes up and said, okay, this company has their act together. They got a great product. We do management agreements with landlords. So they have a business model that's not unduly risky. And I think they're capable of a lot. I think that was probably the maturation. And I think a particular takeaway for CBRE has been we run things. But a huge portion of our business is running office buildings, running factories, logistics centers, etc. The built world runs on CBRE. And I think Bob said he wants to honor that. He wants to create this segment called Building Operations and Experience that puts all of their building operating business lines into one single segment. And he wants to be able to say to the world, we have the best operations on the back end, and we are better than anyone else at the front of house. The softer stuff, the experience, the why do people work in the 21st century? What are they looking for? How do you make an experience where people feel welcomed, people feel happy to be there? Think about a company that could be the best in the world at both of those things. I think that's the bet that CBRE is making.
We launched Industrious in 2012, and proptech has evolved a lot since then. So the landscape for proptech, I think it has matured, and I think it's matured in what I would view to be salutary, healthy ways. I think there was an era where in proptech people were very concerned with revenue growth at all costs, but also I think oftentimes without a focus on the customer, on product quality, on building customer loyalty. That if you're only concerned with revenue growth, you're concerned with your next new customer and less with retaining and delighting your existing customers. And I think most proptech businesses are now at a place where they both are more serious about profitability and EBITDA and sustainability in that way, which is great. But also I love to see more and more proptech businesses have been focused on not just bringing in new clients so you can see that top line grow, but delighting those clients and keeping those clients as customers for a very long time. And that's always been at the core of what makes Industrious tick.
And on that question of business model, I want to kind of probe on that for a second, because I feel like so many people in the early days of co-working or flex spotted the secular trend. They got the secular trend right. But in the end, Industrious emerged as the clear category winner, where a lot of other players, WeWork probably most famously, failed to do so. What's the simple, elegant explanation for why you thrived and others didn't survive?
I think we had a very appealing product on the back of a very airtight business model. It's a product that just the market has responded well to. We tend to get very, our average revenue per desk is 810 or so. If you look at WeWork, IWG, the industry average is 390 or something. So it's not that the pricing is 15% higher, it's double. That makes for great economics. And we put those economics on top of asset-light, liability-light management agreements instead of signing long-term leases with landlords. And those two things together made for a great business. It made for a business that could handle very painful swings like COVID, and it made for a business that could do really well in good times.
And maybe this is a good foray into understanding your logic from Industrious's perspective of why you pursued it, because I remember talking to our investors and saying, look, you don't have to really be a, versed student in economic history to know that the biggest killer of businesses is a mismatch in the duration of their assets and liabilities. It's been responsible for every bank run, nearly every financial crisis, and lots of companies have blown up because of it. And yet somehow that point was lost when looking at Flex. And I feel like you, in combination with Hines and a number of other, big real estate landlords, ideated this concept. But why? Why did you come up with it? What was the rationale from Industrious's side?
The rationale from Industrious' side at some fundamental level was we were willing to trade some upside in the best years to be around for the next 100 years. True. If this is 2016, 2017, we have a very big competitor that famously had a meeting where the CEO was told, hey, we lose money on every desk we add in London. Why is London the market we're adding those desks in? And he said, because we're valued on revenue. And it's going to be many years before anyone figures out that we lose money on every desk. So add more desks in the city where we get the most revenue per desk, profit per desk ignored. And I do think there was an era where it was easy to fall prey to that. So the logic was you make a little less in good times, but you have this very capital efficient, very risk mitigated model that's going to pay off in the long run, which today sounds so obvious. Of course you would take that trade-off, but it was a harder trade-off to make in a moment where VC funds and the market was rewarding revenue and revenue growth alone. But I think Fifth Wall was helpful in part because you guys were able to say, what are all the desires, the needs across this ecosystem? What are the kinds of business models or contracts that are win-win, where this could help Industrious thrive, but it's probably good for the people across the table from you? And in that way, I think the fact that Fifth Wall had this big base of, real estate owner LPs, in addition to this big stable of growing sort of tech businesses, enabled you guys more than others to have a very clear view to what's the type of business that can sit and reward all the people in that ecosystem. And to your guys' credit, you did not push us to do the 2015, 2016, I don't really care if you guys blow up because we're just trying to get one in every 10 of our businesses to be a 100Xer. I think you guys were very authentic about what is this business and what isn't it, and what's the right business model for this business. And I think it paid off in the long run. But most VC funds were out there pushing their portfolio companies to make bad decisions. And I feel like you guys pushed us to make good decisions.
I mean, I feel like a lot of prop tech entrepreneurs should look to you personally, to Industrious as well, and to this transaction is just an example of why relationships matter so much in the real estate industry. And what are you amped up to go do in the next 5 years with CBRE?
We are going to be the world's biggest and best operator of buildings. But I want most asset owners that say, I'm amazing at attracting capital and deploying it and really understanding the value of assets as a holder and grower of financial value. But how do I deliver an amazing workplace experience day in and day out to my employees? I know who to go to for that. That's the dream. I love the idea of getting to grow this business. That's actually one of the things that gets me most amped about this.
We're so thrilled to have been your partners, and thrilled we get to continue the relationship with CBRE.